Hey everybody, we're back. It's the How To Homemaker here. Today we're going to do something a little bit more on the fun side. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I hope you guys are ready. Let's juggle. So, I know what you guys are thinking. She's so amazing, wow. I'm just kidding. What you're probably actually thinking is more along the lines of, what is she, freaking crazy? I can't juggle. I'm not coordinated enough. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily true. If you follow the easy steps that I'm about to lay out for you and you put the work in, you really could be juggling in no time. And you gotta put the work in, that's the key. This isn't magic. Not even magic is magic. Those guys work really hard. You should too if you want the results. So here we go. Step one is basic as I can make it. One ball. You're throwing the ball back and forth from your hands that are placed out like this, as if somebody's about to pass you something really heavy. Now you have them out like that. You don't move them because you don't want to get into the habit of reaching to catch the ball or squeezing in to catch the ball like that. You want it to be nice fluid motion back and forth from hand to hand. You don't want to move too much because eventually there's going to be a lot going on in here and you won't have the time to reach out and grab the bad throw that you just threw yourself. So get good at this. This is an important stage. You should probably do this for days, really. You could even extend it. Do it for a week. This is only as good as you want to make it. So if you want to do step one for a week, you're really good at it by the end of the week, that's only going to benefit you, right? So step one, stand like that, have your hands out like that. Don't look at what you're doing. Don't get into the habit of doing this. It just looks silly, but also juggling is muscle memory, and you don't want to, when you don't look at it, that's what kicks the muscle memory part of your brain in. Because you're just repeatedly doing this over and over and over again. It's just like shooting a bow and arrow. If you shoot the bow and arrow a lot, over and over and over and over again, eventually you'll be just like Katniss Everdeen. So let's be the Katniss Everdeen of juggling. That's funny. Anyways, don't look at it. Toss it back and forth into your hands like that, and when you throw it, make sure that the ball goes visually, like within your visual range. You don't want it to go up too high, you don't want it to go so low, and it's okay if it's a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but make sure it's basically here. Yeah, right there. Crosses in front of your eyes pretty much, not moving my hands, not looking at the ball, and that's step number one. You do that for days. Then when you get good, you add the second ball. That's step number two. I remember when I did this, I would go to step two, get frustrated, go right back to step one. So basically, if you can't do step two, go back down to step one. That's what you need to do. Step two looks like this. What do you mean step two looks like this? I'll tell you, I'll tell you the timing and then you'll get what I'm doing. You throw the first ball up into the air, and then as it's coming down, not as I'm throwing it up, it'll reach the highest point, and then as it's coming down, that's when you throw the second ball. So when you're practicing this, make sure you alternate in between hands. Pick up your speeds if you want. And you see I made every toss just a little bit different. You start with your left hand, start with your right hand, faster, slower, higher, lower. Get really good at stage two, get really good at stage one. That'll bring you to stage three, which is a little bit different because stage one and stage two were skill levels that you could work at. Stage three seemed to be a little bit more for me. I remember when I first did this, it was a really frustrating thing because it was like I really just wanted to throw the ball, but it just wouldn't leave my hand. Like I would, okay, 1, 2, 3, and it would still be there. It was like, why won't you leave? And you just have to force it. And so I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm forcing it. And so I would force it and it would just go cockeyed, but at least I was throwing it. At least it was leaving my hand. So that's progress, is what I'm trying to tell myself, to be positive. So if you're having struggles like that, all I can say is just force it. And step number three is just step number two over and over and over again. So 1, 2, 3. Toss, toss, toss. Toss, toss, toss. As it's coming down. See? And then it just gradually gets into a more smoother motion like this. But like I said, this is like, I don't even know, like a stutter maybe, I'm not even too sure, but it's like you really want to do something and your brain just won't let you. So force it. That's the only advice I have for this stage. And then there's a couple more things that we can talk about to make this an easier, faster process for you. When you're very first starting, you're gonna drop these suckers a lot. They're gonna fall and it's gonna be really frustrating, and you just, well, I think that you should stand in front of a couch, stand in front of a table, stand in front of a bed, so that when you drop them, you're not bending down a million times. I remember when I first started, that's what made me quit for like a couple of years, because I was like, this sucks. And it just does, because it's like, I'm not doing this to work out, I want to juggle. So do that so it's just a quick bend and you can just keep going and not be mad at yourself and the time it takes you feel like a failure. It's not good. So if it's there on the couch, it's just a quick pickup and you can keep going and be encouraged that everybody else does it too. The other thing that I can say, once you get good enough and you can do 3 throws and 3 catches comfortably, get to 4. Once you can do 4, get to 5. Once you can do 5, these are all little milestones, and then like get to 10, get to 12, get to, you know, constantly. But if you're at that stage and you're finding that you're running across the room to chase them, I'll show you what it is. I did this. This is the only reason why I bring it up. I had to look this up. Like, why can't I do this right? You're holding your wrist like this, and I totally was. Not, this is exaggerated, obviously. This is a sharp bend, but any sort of angle that you have down like this, where's that ball going to go? It's going to go that way. It's going to fly off that way. So you want to make sure to have a nice, because it's the same thing. If you're holding your wrist like this is going to throw right up into my face, and I'm going to have to constantly go backwards. So that's not good either. Those are things that you should keep in mind right from the very beginning. Like I said, you don't want to develop bad practices. Get rid of your bad practices right at this stage, and then you'll be a great juggler. Next video that I'm going to do in this series is juggling 2 in one hand, and I can't do 4 yet, but I'm going to work on it and do a video for that one too. So just remember, everybody makes mistakes. What matters is what you do about it. Keep working at this. You'll get it. My process is very easy to do. You just got to do it. So yeah, signing out.